Okay, so for this deep dive, we're heading into some really uncomfortable territory.
Definitely. It's about the aftermath, the domestic side of things after a horrific event.
Right, a school atrocity. And our source material isn't, the usual academic stuff.
No, it's deeply personal. A set of letters.
From a mother, Eva, writing to her husband, Franklin. He's absent by this point.
And she's just trying to piece it all together, trying to make sense of what their son did.
It really forces you to think about consequence, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Not just surviving the event, but living with what comes after.
Exactly. Eva's world is described as completely askew. She talks about these mundane moments like checking eggs in a supermarket.
And then contrasts it with the absolute horror that's become her reality.
Yeah.
Like living in a broken dollhouse, she says.
Yeah, that mix of the everyday messiness. She even mentions some chaotic election where nobody knows who won alongside this shattering trauma.
That's where the real psychological meat is. So our goal here, for you listening, is to try and grasp the contradictions within Eva.
We want to look at her own, maybe search for meaning or consequence, and how that played into the catastrophe she's now living through.
How she became, in her words, a foreigner in her own country.
It's really about guilt and motherhood and where it all started way before their son, Kevin, even existed. It starts with Eva and Franklin themselves.
Okay, let's unpack that. Who were Eva and Franklin before Kevin? The letters paint them as almost opposites.
Polar opposites, really. Eva founded that travel guide company, A Wing and a Prayer. Hugely successful.
Described as sharply cornered, glossy as if commercially gift-wrapped, a real go-getter but maybe brittle.
And a cynic. A thrift shop junkie. Apparently found money boring. She just kind of consumed countries, right?
Yeah, the way most folks go through socks. The U.S. was just a place to leave for her.
But her success became a problem in a way. She felt she'd peaked.
Right. She says the only thing left professionally was for the company to go belly up. She felt stuck.
And Franklin, he was the counterpoint. He loved the idea of America.
Yeah, that sincerity by design. Picnics, national monuments, the whole idealized picture.
He genuinely believed popularity didn't make something less valuable. His ambition wasn't for a career, but for, well,
for his life. Just appreciating the good stuff. Hated snobs, hated finicky eaters. Very straightforward.
a really stark contrast. Franklin wanted that tangible good life. Eva was looking for something else. A void, maybe.
Her success left her restless. And this is crucial. She says, point blank, at least if I got pregnant, something would happen.
Wow. She was actively seeking a consequence, something big.
So when the idea of a child comes up, Franklin's all in. It's the answer to the old existential dilemma, as he saw it, a big-ticket item for his life plan.
But Eva, her reasons were different, almost clinical.
She admits she was absolutely terrified of having a child.
But it was the difficulty, the sheer unattractiveness of the task that drew her in.
Yeah, she says the very insurmountability was the attraction. It was a challenge, a turn of the page that her successful career couldn't offer anymore.
It's like she needed a project that could actually fail, or at least fundamentally change her.
And the irony, when she listed her fears about motherhood, the hassle, varicose veins, dementing boredom.
The possibility that her son might turn out to be a killer?
Not even on the radar,
Yeah.
not on the list. And she got the ultimate devastating consequence she seemed to be searching for.
So, given that fundamental difference between them, maybe it's not surprising that the child they had became this point of pure opposition.
The letters are brutal about Kevin's rejection of Eva right from the start.
Visceral rejection, an aversion to her milk, writhing from it without a sip, she writes.
And the crying. She describes it not as a baby needing something, but as a noise being hurled, like a weapon.
It sounds calculated even then. Apparently his screaming stopped instantly cold when their nanny, Siobhan, quit.
Like he saw the nanny as some kind of buffer or ally, and her leaving was his win against Eva.
Which set up this double life Kevin lived with his parents.
Right. Franklin got the slumbering angel, the sprightly chipper self.
But Eva saw something totally different. Sullen, sarcastic, manipulative.
She came to see him as having the personality equivalent of the black and white cookie.
Meaning, the happy side Franklin saw was just as fake, no less bogus, than the dark side she experienced. He was performing.
Always performing. And this wasn't just emotional. It escalated. Physically.
We have to talk about the incident with the arm.
Yeah, this is difficult. Eva admits, in a moment of rage over soiled diapers, she pushed him.
Pushed him off the changing table. Broke his arm.
And she confesses to feeling a gush of savage joy when she punished him sometimes.
That phrase, savage joy, it just stops you cold. It completely complicates who the victim is and their dynamic.
She wanted conflict, maybe, and Kevin delivered.
And then Kevin used it. He claimed he fell, protecting her, but also gaining this incredible leverage over her.
Winning the larger battle, as she puts it. His silence bought her complicity, locked them together in this warfare.
So if Eva was part of fueling that fire, what happens when the younger sister, Celia, arrives?
Celia is painted as the complete opposite of Kevin. Innocent, loving, easily pleased.
The perfect target, then, for Kevin's malice.
And his actions towards her, they just escalate. From petty cruelty, like getting her to scratch her eczema,
to leaving a nest of bagworms, horrible creatures to hatch in her backpack.
and then the liquid plumber incident. The chemical drain cleaner.
Which cost Celia an eye. Just devastating, calculated harm.
And Kevin's reaction when Eva confronts him.
Zero remorse. Ceel's just gonna have to suck it up.
It's pure sociopathy. It confirms all of Eva's worst fears about him. That the darkness wasn't learned, it was inherent.
And remember, this is all happening after they move. They leave their quirky Tribeca loft.
For this big suburban house in Gladstone. A house Eva despises.
Calls it hideous, a vapid atrocity. The setting itself feels wrong.
Exactly. The house represents Franklin's dream, but for Eva, it's a trap. She says the worst part of its open plan design was that there was nowhere to hide.
The physical space offered no escape from the psychological war zone her son had created.
That lack of refuge, that feeling of being trapped. It leads us to the final act, the atrocity itself.
The planning was chillingly precise. He used 5 state-of-the-art kryptonite bike locks.
And the terrible irony there, Franklin had scouted ad locations for that very company. His world, the consumer world he loved, providing the tools for destruction.
And the deception, organizing that fake awards ceremony, the BSPA.
The most beloved student-teacher award, using letters to lure specific people into the gym.
His victims were chosen. 7 students, 2 staff members. Not random.
Laura Wolford, shot straight through the heart. Kevin dismisses her as a prisspot, though he also sort of hints at unrequited love. It's all performative.
And he targeted students who'd won positive recognition for things like good hygiene or academic achievement. Dana Rocco, the English teacher.
It feels like an attack on decency itself, on the very values Franklin held dear.
Which fits with how Kevin viewed the crime afterward. He called it collateral damage.
Yeah, and a tacky, crappy gym crack derivative stunt. Complete nihilism.
He seemed to almost feed on the world's condemnation. Said it bulked his scrawny frame better than my cheese sandwiches ever did.
And when Eva asked him why he didn't kill himself, like the Columbine shooters,
His answer, why make it easy for everybody? Just pure, calculated cruelty, leaving others to deal with the mess.
this is where Eva's thinking shifts, isn't it? Beyond her own guilt.
Yes, she starts to ponder the act itself. That hard, impassable barrier most people have between a violent thought and actually doing it.
And she realizes, terrifyingly, that for Kevin, that barrier just wasn't there.
Pulling the trigger wasn't one big, monstrous act for him. It was just a series of simple constituent parts.
For fear is that crossing into the unthinkable isn't some huge leap.
It's maybe no more athletic than stepping across the threshold of an ordinary room.
The banality of evil made real. That true darkness might just be easy. A simple choice not to stop.
And the letters carry us through the aftermath, that final prison visit.
Oh, yeah. Eva tells Kevin she once wanted his admiration, but obviously not for this.
And his response is to give her a gift, Celia's prosthetic eye, in a little box.
Saying it felt like Celia was sort of looking at me all the time. It started to get spooky.
It's an act of profound psychological cruelty. Eva knows immediately what he's asking.
To bury a great deal else. He's handing her the physical symbol of his cruelty, making her carry it, transferring the weight.
And of course, the letters also cover Franklin's death.
Which happened after the school shooting. Kevin came back. Franklin heard Celia scream.
Eva had already left the house by then.
Right. Franklin ran out towards the sound, up the hill, and Kevin shot him. With arrows.
The description is horrible. Arrows fixed fast into the fibrous muscle of your broad, rope-skipping calf.
The man who embodied the simple good life, killed violently, trying to save the daughter Kevin had already maimed. Just awful.
So Eva ends her letters basically where she started, in a way, circling between blaming herself and blaming everything else, exoneration and excoriation.
She mentions winning a court case against the mother of one of the victims, Mary Wolford, and says it meant nothing. Public vindication was hollow.
She arrives at this place of almost exhaustion.
Yeah, she concludes, I don't know. At the end of the day, I have no idea. And that pure, serene ignorance has become itself a funny kind of solace.
It's tragic. You have Franklin's faith in goodness, Eva's search for consequence, and they both just shatter against Kevin, who seems to exist only to negate meaning.
So the solace is just giving up on finding a reason, accepting the vacuum.
It seems so. For her, maybe that's the only peace possible.
But maybe Kevin did have a reason, a horribly cynical one. That brings us to the final thought we wanted to leave you with.
It's about why Kevin spared Eva. Why didn't he kill her too?
She recorded his answer from an earlier conversation they had. He told her, when you're putting on a show, you don't shoot the audience.
Think about that. If Eva is the audience,
Then her survival isn't an act of mercy. It's part of the performance.
it makes her guilt, her suffering, the enduring consequence of his act. She's left alive to tell the story, to bear the shame, the social exile.
So his final act wasn't just the shooting, it was condemning his mother to a life sentence of remembering and narrating it.
The ultimate ongoing punishment. For Kevin, maybe that was the perfect, horrifying finale.